this magazine. We're not doing the last 2 pages, so we are almost done with North America. All right, my friends that normally get rowdy towards the end of my day, we have to get through this, okay? So we're gonna chill. All right. So today's thing is called People and the Land. Well, guess what? We're people. We live on land. Nothing too crazy. So starting out on, it's called People and Land. Please go to that page. It says, I know it's kind of. Imagine you're an immigrant to the United States in 1800. I know it's connected. You left a poor village or crowded city in Europe in search of a better life in America. Where would you want to go? Would you choose a brand new kind of place, or would you look for somewhere that reminded you of home? Anyone want to give me what would you do? Isabel?
I would just go to Westville.
Well, if you're coming
of course.
Westville wasn't a thing back in the 1800s, love. 1800s, you're coming from Europe. Are you going to find somewhere brand new, or are you going to find somewhere that makes you seem like Europe?
I would go somewhere new, and because then not a lot of people go there because it's new and they don't know what's there.
All right.
So then it would be less crowded.
All right. Isaiah?
I feel like a place that reminded me of home because it just would feel like more national.
All right. So this next part is a good opinion on what people normally did. It said most likely you look for a place where you could make a living using skills you brought from home. If you were a farmer in Europe, you'd look for a place with good soil and plenty of water. If you wanted to build a sawmill and make boards, you'd look for a place you could use water power from a river. So if you are coming from Europe and in Europe you were a chef, I don't know, or like cooked food, I don't know, guess what? You'd probably come to America and want to do that same thing, right? Because that's what you already know. You know how you can make money like that. So if Miss Kneifel doesn't want to move anywhere, so I'm not answering that question. But done. So we have the first section, which says many immigrants. It's in the right straight down on the left-hand side. It says many immigrants look for new homes in areas that are like the places they came from. That way, they don't need to change their way of life too much. Obviously, it's new, so it will be different, but they don't want to change every little thing about themselves. They can use their old skills in a new place. For example, many people from cold weather countries like Norway and Sweden move to cool southern states like Wisconsin and Minnesota. I want you to underline 2 different sentences, so pay attention. Don't start underlining if I haven't told you what to underline yet, Isabel. I meant highlight. It's the same thing. I want you to highlight the first sentence. Many immigrants look for new homes in areas that are like the places they came from. And I want you to highlight the third sentence. They can use their old skills in the new place. Okay? So, many immigrants look for new homes in areas that are like the places they came from. And they can use their old skills in the new places. So you're highlighting 2 sentences in that section, okay? The first sentence and the third sentence. Does that make sense to you, though? Like, oh, if I'm good at doing something, even though I'm moving, I probably want to do something similar. Like if Mrs. Kneifel was to move states, guess what? I would still want to be a teacher in another state, okay? Like, I'm not going to go learn a new career just because I moved, all right? Mm-hmm. So here's this lovely little thing. And it says, people change the environment through their activities. When the British colonists arrived in Massachusetts and Virginia, the landscape was covered in forests. We talked about that a little bit yesterday. Then settlers cleared the trees to grow crops. That made the landscape look more like open countryside of Britain. These open fields and woodlands were home to different types of wildlife. Then the forests, different types of wildlife. Then the forests were the American Indians lived. So we talked about that a little bit yesterday. How you change the forest, guess what? Well, you like how there was a ton of forest when they first came, but they changed it, this early settlers, and cleared out a lot of the things. But that's just a little extra because, we love to do the extra things. And this says, my corner of the world, what landscape features or natural resources made people want to settle where you live? So where we live in Indiana, does anyone know why people want to live in Indiana back in the day?
Because there was a lot of food.
What?
Because there was a lot of farmland.
Yeah, there's a ton of fields and open areas. That is one reason why technically we're the forested area according to yesterday's vegetation state, but we still don't have, we're not fully wooded. So the land itself, it's flat. It's easy to drive on. It'd be hard to farm in the mountains, right? But in flat land, it's easy to farm. Why else?
You're near a giant lake.
Yes, we are close to Lake Michigan. That's one thing. John?
The same thing, except it's easier to get here because you have to walk instead of go on a boat.
Yeah, so hey, Rush, I know you're not listening, and I need you to start. Also, another big one is because of where we live and what type of animals we had here, people did have access to food, you could fish, but we have deer and closer, in Michigan they have bears, and there's a lot of different wildlife people were able to kill and eat. So that is another reason why settlers came here. All right, we're going to continue on. Natural resources. Oh, and also nowadays, we have limestone quarries by us. There's one in Hannah, in between Hannah and Hamlet, and then there's some other quarries, and literally you dig in the ground and get limestone, and that's also local to our area. So, anyways, natural resources are anything we use from nature. I like that sentence, Morgan. Natural resources, natural nature, see, kind of same thing. Natural resources are anything we use from nature. Renewable resources like water, wind, or a forest can be used again and again if managed wisely. When people cut trees from a forest, new trees may grow to replace them. But if we cut too many trees at once, there may not be enough forest in the future. Planting new trees is one way to manage a forest wisely. I also want you to highlight that second sentence, that renewable resources are things like water, wind, and forest. Okay, well, wind, we can create wind, or wind's just going to come. Forest, we can plant more trees. Water is a never-ending cycle of precipitation and stuff like that. But you still have to be wise with renewable resources, okay? Even though they're renewable, you don't want to cut down an entire forest all at once. You want to cut down part of it, and then you want to replant. Otherwise, it would just all be gone. So you still have to use things wisely. Mason?
Don't be the ones with it.
And then non-renewable. Anyone want to guess what that prefix means? Ethan?
I lost it.
It means you can only use it once.
That is what non-renewable means, but what does N-O-N, the prefix non mean? Not. It means not. So if I said non-perishable, that means it can't go bad, like canned goods and stuff like that. Non-renewable, that means not renewable, meaning you cannot remake it. If I said, that'd be unable, not non-able. I can't think of any more non-words. But anyways, non means not. So non-renewable resources like coal, oil, and minerals are formed in limited amounts of earth. Once they are used up, there will not be any more of them. That's important. Highlight that. So, renewable resources like coal, oil, and minerals are found in limited amounts. Once they are used up, no more. Okay? That's important to know.
On 15.
And then, continuing on, the natural resources found in an area can determine how many people move there and also how they use the land. After gold was discovered in California in 1848, thousands of people moved to the area. San Francisco grew from a small town into a city. Towards closer to the end of the year, we read a story in our reading book about Maybe it's not towards the end of the year. But we read about the California gold rush a little bit, so we're going to learn more about that. But gold was discovered in California, and that took a ton of people who were in the east, because that's where people came from Europe. They landed in the east. Some people went out west, but not too many. But once the gold was found there, like literally so many people moved there so incredibly fast. And then that changed things when there, it was only 1,000 people living there, not too much. But then there was 40,000. Okay, well, there's way more stuff now, way more land being used. It's no longer something tiny, it's something big. John?
Are we going to read something about the Alaskan gold rush?
I don't know.
Okay.
Here, this is a lovely picture of the Hoover Dam. Does everyone see that one?
Mm-hmm.
And now we're talking about water, okay? Water is an important resource that affects land use or the way people use and change their natural environment. Early European settlers in America had to live near water. Okay, come on, thing. Near water sources. In most places, farming was limited by the amount of rainfall. Then engineers invented ways to store water in large dams and to move it long distances. This allowed people to use land in new ways. So when people came from Europe, if they were farming, they had to stay, kind of close to where they could get water. They couldn't move to those nice arid areas that we talked about where they were desert, because they weren't able to do anything there because there wasn't enough water, because they didn't have bottled water like we have now, and we didn't have other ways to move water besides if it fell down from the sky, okay? So there was just certain reasons why you had to live certain places. And then the Central Valley of California has fertile soils, but it is very, very dry. In the 1930s, people found a way to bring water from Northern California. They did that to irrigate or water crops. Nowadays, farmers in Central Valley, in Central Valley, where'd I go? In Central Valley, grow fruits and vegetables that people eat all over the U.S. When cities develop in dry areas, like in the Southwest, they also need water from far away. Conflicts can arise between farming areas and cities. That's even more likely during dry periods and when there's not enough water for everyone. So I talked about that a little bit yesterday. I talked about a drought and how places in like the Southwest and the far west, Southwest and far west, how they suffer droughts, and then you have to conserve water. Okay, well, if you own a orange farm, like a citrus farm, you have to still water your crops. But guess what? Everyone in the cities next to you still has to take a shower and still needs water to drink. So conserving water is important. And it is definitely a harsher climate when they don't have that rain. And is rain guaranteed how much rain you're going to get every year? No, it's a variant. It varies. Some years you may get more than others. Remember that nice big map we looked at the rain yesterday? I liked that map. Yes.
Well, what year was the Hoover Dam built?
I don't know. We can look it up later. Good question. But anyways, the Hoover Dam helps stop, it collects a bunch of water, then they can disperse the water where it needs to go. So it's just their way of controlling water, essentially. And then here's a little bit to learn more information about dams, just a little bit. I don't think you have this little part.
No.
Okay, well then just pay attention. It says, people build dams for many reasons. 1, to control flooding, which is literally what I just talked about, and storing water. To store water for irrigation and to produce renewable energy. Capturing the energy from falling water is called hydropower. People called Nevada's Hoover Dam an engineering marvel when it was constructed in the 1930s. There you go, Isabel. It was made in the 1930s, okay? So it was made almost 100 years ago, and it's something that we still use today. Crazy. So there are more than one reason for dams. Control flooding, store water, produce energy, one little more thing. Do you have this one or no?
No.
All right. Well, let's just do this last little part.
The Central Valley is the last part.
Okay.
But just use your mouse.
I don't have a mouse. What mouse? I'm not gonna walk all the way back there when I can do it right here. It's fine. It's fine. Why do we need to interrupt? I was doing just fine. Patterns of settlement in America were affected by culture and religion, as well as the land. In the 1800s, many members of the Mormon religion settled in the Great Basin. They followed their leader, Brigham Young, to Utah to escape bad treatment in the eastern U.S., California, and the southeast states were originally colonies of Spain. Anyways, I did know that lots of people of the Mormon religion did settle in Utah, like a ginormous group. And then there was other stuff that has to go along with that. But anyways, they're originally colonies of Spain and a Catholic country. As a result, many early settlers in these areas were Catholic. So sometimes you might have lived in a certain place because of your religion a long time ago, because you wanted to be with people that believed what you believed and wanted to be with like-minded people. So there were all different reasons why you lived in certain places. It could be because of your skills. It could be because the water was available. It could be because of your religion. It could be what was, how far you could get or how much money you had. There's all different reasons why people lived in different spots in the United States. Rush.
Can I pick up these?
No, I'm not done. I'm still having class. We don't interrupt me to say things like that. Can you give me your true false paper? I want you to get out your true false paper. Oh, okay. Mason, probably not. So now that we have gone through the entire different Okay, I think my call just might have dropped a little bit. Oh, I think Claire left. Okay, anyways, hopefully it's still working. Anyway, so that is what you are doing now, unless you have your math. Hi, Claire. I don't know what happened. Connection was being crazy. Anyways, I was just explaining. Well, you won't be able to turn yours in on time because you're not here, but you're going to finish this. And if it was false, I want you to have that F. If it was actually true, I want you to have that true. This is going to be due Tuesday at the end of the school day, okay? So if you still have your math quiz to do, you're getting on that right now. If you're done with your math quiz, not Mrs. Ako's math quiz, not talking about you. If you're taking Mrs. Ako's math quiz, don't worry about the computer one. If you are done with your math quiz, I need you to first do your grammar test, and then you may work on this, okay? I will make a note on the board. So long, Claire, thank you for joining us. You work on this too, and you can turn it in whenever you come back, okay? I'll repost this. Yes, Rush, you may pick those up. Any questions, Claire?
No.
Okay. See you later.
Bye.
Can we do the review test or
Hi, Miss Knifel.
Hello. Hey, Miss Knifel.